Well, it's now time for us to surf through the social media and bring out the stories that are trending now. And Ria is wearing a different cap today because Ria will be trending now with us.
All right, Atoma, there's actually a lot to talk about in the world of social media and more. So are we ready to get into it?
Oh, yes. Why?
All right, let's go through it. Okay, a very, very good morning once again, Nigeria. Now, a lot is happening in the world of social media and more. You are watching Trending Now. I'll be standing in for Olamide Odekole this morning. Now, we'll start with this very, very important story. Should states continue spending billions of naira on flyovers, or should more attention be given to security, healthcare, and other basic needs? Now, President Bola Tinubu has weighed in on the debate. Speaking at the recent event, the president urged state governors to focus on projects that directly improve the quality of life of Nigerians. He advised them to prioritize security, healthcare, education, and other people-centered initiatives, rather than constructing what he described as unnecessary flyovers.
You have governed before as the governor. You need to help us communicate to these governors, and they should do more to, instead of flyover where there's no numeric traffic, build roads and arteries network to really enhance the quality of life and the accessibility of the security agencies to penetrate those areas.
All right, the president has spoken, and the remarks have generated conversations online with many Nigerians sharing different opinions on infrastructure priorities and how public funds should be spent. You had a lot to say on social media. Let's take a look. All right, Bright David says, my president's emphasis on prioritizing projects that improve the quality of life of Nigerians. I hope people can hold their governors accountable instead of shouting Tinubu's name all the time. I think that's a step in the right direction. And then Blessing Lamy says, well, according to concentration of power in Nigeria, we should hold our governors accountable than the federal government. All right, these are the conversations that we're seeing on social media. But Mr. Shomi Etoma, what's your take on this? We have always said that it's important for governors to do what is needed for the people, not what is needed for them to be re-elected again.
Well, I think I agree with the president. There's no doubt about it. Go to so many states, you see flyovers, in areas where there are no congested intersection. And then you begin to ask yourself, what's the wisdom in doing this? When in reality, hardly will you have 10 vehicles going through it, within a space of 1 or 2 minutes. So it doesn't make sense. Rather than that, why not concentrate on what the president said, which is look at the rural roads, look at also the streets in the cities and then get them tarred. There's no point going through a very terrible road, inaccessible roads, streets, only to end up on a flyover, which is not necessarily needed.
Exactly. Yeah, what worries me is the amount of money spent on building those flyovers that are leading to nowhere. Those monies could be channeled into more profitable things. I think our governors need to have a mental revolution and start thinking more about the people and less about elections.
Very true. Tijesu, what's your take on this? What do you think about governors prioritizing the people rather than projects that would probably re-elect them?
Yes, for me, I think that, building roads and bridges is not really bad, but from the president's perspective, I think it's more about priorities. Yeah. I have the opportunity of speaking to many young Nigerians every morning, and sometimes when some people actually announce these projects and all of that, they come to say that that's not the priority. What of the hospitals? What of their welfare? What of schools? Those are infrastructure that these governors need to invest more in. Invest more in the people rather than, just building flyovers. At the end of the day, just commission it, to have a very good legacy. I think the perfect legacy will be about investing in the people more. So it's about priorities. The intent is not wrong, but just set the priorities right.
I totally agree with you. I believe that as a governor, your number one responsibility is to make sure that your citizens are okay. If your citizens are hungry, how do you expect them to be on flyovers? But anyway, thank you very much for your submissions. We'll move straight to the other story. Now we go to the story that has been trending all over social media. South African pop star Tyla has cancelled her Lagos concert, which was scheduled for December 22, 2026, as part of her A-pop tour. The cancellation follows widespread backlash from Nigerians in the wake of recent xenophobic attack against Nigerians and other African nationals in South Africa. Many Nigerians had called for the show to be cancelled, arguing that although Tyla was not responsible for the attacks, her performance in Nigeria will be inappropriate given the circumstances. Critics also pointed to reports that Nigerian singer Arya Star had previously been denied a visa to South Africa, describing Tyla's planned concert as benefiting from Nigeria's hospitality, while Nigerians allegedly face unequal treatment abroad. So this is the conversation, but you had a lot to say on social media, so let's take a couple of tweets here. Well, I share the same sentiments. I believe that no Tyla performance in Nigeria. But this one says, Emperor says, as much as Nigerians are good people, when we decide to show you Pepe, you definitely feel it. This is Atarodo Pepe. But anyway, Ayadele says, I support you on this. Tyla should just stay back in SA. They all stayed quiet in the midst of xenophobic attacks in the country. We won't allow the show to go on in this country. So this is the conversation that we're hearing now. I posted this on my social media page and it went blasting. The question is, our people are dying in South Africa. How then are we now singing Tyla's music in Nigeria? Mr. Shomi, what's your take on this?
Well, honestly, you can't hold Tyla responsible, for whatever happened in South Africa and the weak response of the Cyril Ramaphosa's government in South Africa. I believe the government is responding to it, adequately through diplomacy. And in any case, this issue needs to be escalated, like the Ghanaian president is trying to do, John Mahama, to the level of AU heads of states meeting. The truth of the matter is we do not have to behave like the South Africans under this guise of quid pro quo. We need to remember we are Africans, we are one people, and we need to remember the goals of Pan-Africanism.
All right.
Well, I think it's a wise decision that she decided to cancel her Lagos concert because it would have been very shameful if she came knowing the kind of Gen Zs that we have and that hall or venue is not filled up with people that came to enjoy her music. But this also tells the South African government that Nigerians are not happy about the xenophobic attacks that are happening there.
All right, TJ, so what's your take on this?
Well, yes, for me, I would say yes. The fact that she cancelled that concert is actually a good one. What I think, she is not directly responsible for these xenophobic attacks that happened in South Africa, yes. But what really hurt Nigerians more, I think, is the silence of those celebrities, the government as well. They expected more support. Believe it or not, Nigerians are, a wide community of supporters. They support in music, support in movies, and all of that. And if there's something happening to Nigerians, irrespective of wherever they find themselves, I think celebrities should be the one at the forefront, defending this. But their silence as well, I think that really hurt Nigerians, and I think they should work on that, especially the government as well.
I totally agree as well, because Trevor Noah as well is receiving a lot of backlash. I mean, as a celebrity, you have a voice, and that voice is for a positive change. There's no way we will be jubilating and dancing when Emeka passed away and many more, in the streets of South Africa due to police brutality. So yes, this is the time that Nigerians come together and also say enough is enough. Thank you so much. Fantastic submissions from you all. Now